Your life is in pieces. You're at rock bottom, staring up from a hole so deep you can't see the sky. You feel broken, defeated, and lost. Good. This is where warriors are made. Fixing a broken life isn't a mystery, it is a strategy. History's greatest swordsman, Miyamoto Musashi, gave us the blueprint. He used 5 simple rules to rise from the ashes of his own despair, and they can be your guide out of the darkness. Here is rule number 1. Accept your life as it is. This sounds too simple, almost insulting. But picture this. It's the year 1600. A 17-year-old Musashi is standing on the bloody fields of the Battle of Sekigahara. His side has been utterly destroyed. He is a survivor on a losing team, forced to flee for his life. In a single day, everything he knew, his clan, his security, his future, was gone. That kind of devastation would break most men. But instead of denying reality, instead of drowning in a swamp of self-pity and asking, "Why me?" Musashi embraced the harsh, cold truth. He accepted that his world had been shattered. Why is this so powerful? Because acceptance is the first step out of any prison. Now look at your own life. Maybe you lost the job, the marriage, your sense of purpose. The more you resist that reality, the more you deny what has happened, the deeper the wound becomes. Musashi realized you cannot begin to rebuild your fortress if you are still pretending the old one hasn't crumbled. Life will throw its punches. You cannot change that fact. But you can change how you interpret the blow. Stop kicking against the bricks of the wall that just fell on you. Look for a way out from under the rubble. Musashi accepted his defeat not as a permanent curse, but as a brutal lesson. He told himself, "This is where I am now. What can I do next?" What if the key to fixing your broken life isn't to fight it, but to accept it? The moment you accept your reality, you regain your power. You stop asking, "Why me?" and you start asking, "What now?" That shift in mindset is liberating. It stops the bleeding. Musashi's acceptance of his own rock bottom set the stage for his legendary comeback. But acceptance alone wasn't enough. He had to be careful about what he did next, because there is a dangerous trap that waits for every person whose life has fallen apart. That leads us to rule number 2. Do not chase pleasure to escape the pain. When your life is in pieces, the temptation to escape is overwhelming. Binge eating, drinking, mindless entertainment, anything to numb the ache. Musashi's second rule is a direct warning against this. Do not chase pleasure. In his time, that meant avoiding excessive comfort or luxury. For you today, it means you must not try to bandage your despair with the cheap, fleeting highs of distraction. Musashi knew that chasing pleasure to escape pain is like drinking salt water when you're dying of thirst. It feels good for a second, but it only leaves you more dehydrated in the end. If you're constantly chasing the next hit of dopamine, you can never be present. You become a slave to your own cravings, desperately running from one distraction to the next while the underlying problem festers and grows. After his defeat, Musashi could have easily given up. He could have sought a comfortable life in a wealthy lord's household. He chose the opposite. He embraced a life of intentional hardship to forge himself into something new. He wandered the country as a ronin, a masterless samurai, often living in the wild. Legend says he even avoided baths so he would never be caught unarmed. That is how seriously he rejected luxury. Instead of pleasure, he chose purpose. Each day was about training, learning, and honing his craft. It was this Spartan discipline that allowed him to climb out of his despair and become stronger than he ever was before. Now think about your own life. When things go wrong, do you seek comfort or do you seek growth? It's a hard question. Musashi is challenging you. Endure a small amount of discomfort now so you can escape a much greater suffering later. If you can resist the urge to lose yourself in a Netflix marathon or a tub of ice cream, you create the space you need to confront your problems head on. Yes, it is painful to face your life without an anesthetic, but that pain, if you let it, will become the fuel for your transformation. Pleasant things are only useful when they come as a reward, not when you hunt them down like a hungry wolf. By abandoning the obsessive chase for pleasure, you reclaim control. You clear away the fog of temporary highs and you finally see your situation with clear eyes. But once you do that, another challenge appears. You are left alone, face to face with your raw emotions, fear, anger, sadness. How do you deal with those without falling apart? This is where Musashi's third rule comes in. Rule number 3, control your emotions. Do not act on impulse. Emotional chaos is the side effect of hitting rock bottom. One moment you're furious at the world, the next you are drowning in sorrow. Musashi understood that acting on these impulsive emotions only digs the hole deeper. In fact, he flatly stated that acting on an impulsive emotion is wrong. This goes against everything modern culture tells you. Follow your heart, they say. Musashi would say that is the advice of a fool. Why? Because decisions made in a state of extreme emotion are rarely wise. When your life is shattered, your heart might urge you to do drastic things. Quit your life, lash out at the people you love, or even hurt yourself. Musashi's advice is to pause. Do not trust your knee-jerk feelings. Regulate them with reason. Consider his most famous duel against Sasaki Kojiro. Musashi showed up hours late, intentionally infuriating his opponent. By the time Musashi arrived, Kojiro was blinded by rage, a raw, impulsive emotion. In that state, Kojiro made fatal mistakes. Musashi, who remained calm and strategic, defeated him with a single blow from a sword he had carved from an oar. This victory was only possible because Musashi controlled his emotions while his opponent was a slave to his. You may not be fighting sword duels, but the principle is the same. If you let panic, rage, or despair drive your actions, you will make your situation worse. Acting in anger will burn the bridges you need to cross. Making decisions in deep sadness will close off opportunities you need to take. Impulse is your greatest enemy when your life is broken and fragile. Rule number 3 is about self-mastery. When you are at rock bottom, practice stepping back from your emotions before you act. Ask yourself, am I about to do this just because I am upset right now? If the answer is yes, give it a day. Give it a week. A cooler head will always prevail. This doesn't mean you should suppress what you feel. It means you must not be ruled by it. Feel it, understand it, but then let a reason guide your hand. This calm, strategic approach will prevent you from digging a deeper hole while you are trying to climb out. By controlling your impulses, you regain clarity, but even with clarity, there is another trap waiting for you at rock bottom: becoming consumed with your own misery. This brings us to his 4th rule. Rule number 4. Do not obsess over yourself. Gain perspective. When your life shatters, it's natural to curl up into a ball of your own pain and think, my life is awful. My suffering is the biggest thing in the world. Musashi's 4th rule cuts through that self-obsession like a blade. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. In simpler terms, stop being so self-obsessed. This is not to say that your problems don't matter. It means that you are not the only one with problems, and the world is much bigger than your personal pain. By zooming out and seeing the bigger picture, you ease the oppressive weight of your own tragedy. The more you fixate on yourself, the more you blind yourself to solutions, to opportunities, and to the support that is all around you. After countless victories, Musashi could have developed an ego the size of a mountain. Instead, he sought humility. He studied philosophy, calligraphy, and painting. He looked deeply at the world beyond himself. In his later years, he spent time in a cave, writing and meditating. In that solitude, he wasn't wallowing in his own greatness or his own brokenness. He was analyzing the deeper principles of the world, and by taking his own ego out of the equation, he was able to see the truth more clearly. That mindset is the key to rebuilding your own broken life. Step outside your own head, and you will realize that your failures and your heartbreaks, no matter how consuming they feel, are not the end of the world. Life goes on, and so can you. Shift your focus outward. Instead of thinking, I messed up my life, I am doomed, ask, what can I learn from this that might one day help someone else? Service to others, learning a new skill, even just appreciating nature or art can snap you out of your mental doom loop. Perspective is a powerful healer. When you think lightly of yourself, you stop treating every failure like a personal indictment and see it as just one event in a much larger story. You become resilient, like bamboo that bends in the wind instead of snapping under pressure. By abandoning self-obsession, you reconnect with the world and you begin to see possibilities again. But there is one final poison that can seep in when your life is broken: jealousy. It's easy to look at people whose lives seem perfect and feel a bitter resentment. Musashi had a rule for that too. Rule number 5, never let jealousy poison you. When you are at rock bottom, seeing someone else's success can feel like a punch in the gut. You might think, it's not fair. Why do they have it so good while I am struggling? Musashi's 5th rule is blunt: never be jealous. This isn't just moral advice, it is survival wisdom for a broken spirit. Jealousy is a corrosive acid. It eats away at you, not at the person you envy. When you are busy comparing your life to someone else's, you are robbing yourself. You are using what little energy you have left on resentment instead of reconstruction. Look at Musashi's journey. During his lonely years of training, he must have met countless people with more wealth or higher status. He could have grown jealous, but that would have drained his focus from his own path. Instead, he stayed laser-focused on his own self-improvement. He was too busy elevating his own life to covet someone else's. Think about your situation. Maybe your friends seem to have it all. That envy you feel is natural, but Musashi is telling you to let it go for your own sake. Every second you spend resenting someone else's life is a second you have lost in rebuilding your own. And remember, you are only seeing the highlight reel of their story. For all you know, they have their own hidden struggles. Rather than letting jealousy drag you down, use other people's success as proof that climbing back up is possible. And then, count your own blessings, no matter how small they seem. Maybe you have one supportive friend, your health, or just the raw determination to keep trying. That mindset is what creates hope. With jealousy purged from your heart, you can finally focus completely on your own comeback. Each one of these rules creates a small but powerful shift. Acceptance replaces denial. Discipline blocks empty distractions. Reason diffuses raw impulse. Perspective broadens your world beyond yourself. And gratitude halts the poison of envy. When you layer them together, the pieces of a broken life stop being rubble. They become the building blocks for something unbreakable.